Good evening. I can't actually tell if there's anyone watching or not. Well, we'll go anyway. See if someone turns up. We're looking at Metro North, Harlem, Grand Central Terminal to Great White Plains. And I've got a video going live right now which explains the route, so I'm not going to do that. And you get a lot of stuff. So there's route intro, M3A intro, M7A intro. I'm just going to spin out time until I see if someone appears. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different scenarios. Train to the game. You take a train out to the ball game and back again. Peak performance is a peak run to North White Plains. Snow Globetrotters is quite an interesting one. It's a high-speed run in the snow, and then you put a train into service. Buds to the Big Apple, which is a new service from Crestwood, and head down to Grand Central Terminal. So Buds to the Big Apple actually follows on from Snow Globetrotters. And then there's Subway Series Direct, which probably should have 5 dots, not 4. It's actually kind of hard, providing you turn all the safety systems on. But anyway, we are going to run 2 services. We're going to start with the M3A and go on to, which one do we want? 2307. We're going to do an easy one in the M3A, and then we're going to do a more complex one afterwards. And g'day to the people who have turned up as viewers, whoever you might be. So we're looking at the brand new Grand Central Harlem line. We're currently jumping into the M3, which I'll start setting up. Now this one's a non-stop run, and it's not even a passenger run. So if you're not familiar with this one, I've just set the max brake. I'm charging up the brake pipe now. And we don't have to worry about doors or anything on this one, because we don't have any passengers. I'm turning on the access safety system, the automatic train control safety system, the dead man pedal and the alerter. Dead man doesn't do anything in this one. ATC is the one that controls yours running up against other trains and the signals, and access is things like curbs and bridges. Let's get this open since we're not a proper passenger train. And jump in the chair. We should be almost ready to go. Let's just put the headlights on dim. I don't put them on bright because I don't like that. Marker lights are fine. And we've got everything else ready to go. So let's leave Grand Central Terminal. Now I'll talk you through what's happening as things do. We have to go pretty slowly out of Grand Central. Grand Central really is this grubby and bland, to be honest with you. Oops, going a little bit fast. It's the problem with outside shots. Now the train control system on this is not as, what's the best way to put it? Not as fastidious as German train control systems, but if you do go too fast, it'll take you out. Feel free to say hello in the chat if you'd like to. And if you've got any questions about the route, if there's anything you'd like me to show you, just sing out and we will make that happen. Now, going live right about now, there is a tutorial on using all of the safety systems in here, which has been worked on with the help of a real driver that drives these trains every day. So it's as authentic as it can be in the game. It's a bit of a slow start out of Grand Central because you're only allowed to do 10 miles an hour. And of course we're going downhill, so we keep creeping up and creeping up. Now while the M3A looks a little like the train that you have in LIRR, it's a new build. And I have to say, it's a heap better. The other thing that's a totally new build on this route is the signalling. And it's been made top notch. It's had real drivers, I should call them engineers really, shouldn't I? But it's had real drivers checking it out to make sure that it really is good. So we'll be above ground shortly and we'll be able to drive a bit quicker and I'll be able to show you what's outside. Because if I show you the outside in here, you don't get to see very much. Plus I'm trying to keep my speed down so the safety systems don't bite me. So one thing that's totally different in this one from the LIRRs as well is this new ADU over here, which has the ATC or automatic train control down here. Now by automatic train control, all it does is stop you if you go too fast, really. It doesn't actually control your train. And down this side, we've got the PTC, which is actually, the system is Axis. And it's a little bit like the implementation on Boston, except that it's been completely reworked. And not saying anything against Boston, but is now right. Just starting to go uphill now. Is the game sound versus my levels okay, by the way? Be good to know if it is. I do have some good news too. I'm going to have some keys to give away to subscribers at some point in the not too distant future. So we've just exited the 10-mile area, and as you probably noticed, the M3A doesn't accelerate very fast, but accelerate it does. Now I've got the full HUD turned on because even though I've put rather a lot of hours into this, throughout both the testing and early access phases, I'm still learning these systems. And I am certain to get it wrong sooner or later. Now we've got a curve coming up soon that I'll get slowed down for. So I'll just keep the speed where it is for a bit. Just gradually letting it slow down by itself, letting gravity do its thing. Because in a little while we have to be doing 45. Axis has just taken us down to 45 for these curves. And we will be going back up to 60 shortly when the back of our train gets past the speed change point. These trains are quite long. There we go. Once we get... Oops. Told you the likelihood of me getting something wrong was quite extreme. No, not yet. Come on. No, you're going to make me stop, aren't you? Ah, well. It was going to happen sooner or later. When we come to a complete stop, I will get moving again. Basically, that was an overspeed. So acknowledge that. In theory, it shouldn't beep at me anymore, and we should be able to move. Away we go. Get used to that. The overspeeds are fast and furious in this one. So we're coming up into Harlem now. The train, I think, runs under Park Avenue from memory. So we're coming out of one of the richest areas of New York into one of the poorest. Hello, Don Rusty Rails. Yes, I am using a rail driver. It'll kind of cover up my head. Let me just put that there. Let me move the rail driver a little bit. I'll put it somewhere where it won't matter too much. Put it up there. There we go. So yes, I am using a rail driver. And let's, while the speed's a bit stable, let's have a quick look outside. So this is the M3A. Turn my own headphones down a bit so I don't shout at you. Hello, Ethan Plays TV, how are you? So this one is a non-revenue service. This does have a fairly good New York feel to it. It could be grubbier, and there could be more people on the streets. I'd love to see more people. But I think they've actually pretty much nailed the architecture, to be honest with you. There's a couple of buildings that I know the community have called out as missing, but, you know, that's life. There are realities in these games, there are budgets. And let's go brake till the green light comes on and then we'll be okay. The green light is brake assurance. This is your home line. Fantastic. And did I just... yeah, I just got nothing over speed. Do you know, I have made hours and hours and hours and hours of content for this. And this didn't actually happen to me. Now I've just got to wait for this to reset, I think. Let's go into emergency. There we go. I shouldn't have... don't think I should have had to been able to do that, but, you know, it's my own fault for going too fast. And this is your home line, Ethan Plays TV. You are up very early. Yeah, you should get it pretty soon, I guess. You're on one of the consoles, I'm guessing, because the PCs won't have it for about another 5 hours on Steam. That's assuming they've turned Steam updates and Epic updates back on after their little issue this morning. So that's the East 125th Harlem station. And this is a non-passenger service, so I don't have to stop and take out doors or anything. Now coming up is the Harlem River Bridge, which is quite nicely modelled. Just try and get down to the right speed for it, that'll do fine. So we don't get any more overspeeds. So Axis has got me down to 35 for this one. Let's just pop out and go and have a look at the bridge, because it is cool. It's a nice one. How did I bounce up here? That's okay. Looks like the stream's working a little better than last time I tried a evening stream. Hello, Sander Blot. I am playing on PC because I get early access. You'll discover several other streamers who are also playing it right now because they also get early access. So you'll have it available on your Xbox in about 4 hours and 45 minutes would be my guess. It's got Axis holding us to 35 mile an hour till the back of our train passes that point. There we go. Speed up a little now. I have played this with the controller, and you're in for a challenge. I hope you like busy fingers. So Access is going to let us go up to 60 once we get past that point. So we're still very much in the city at this point. Nice dawn light. I thought it came out on midnight, Ethan Plays TV. Midnight everywhere on Xbox, or have they changed that? Well, I'm guessing you're in New York if this is your home line, or at least New York State, if not New York City itself, which I have to say is one of my favourite cities to visit, so I really looked forward to this route coming out. I should really be honking for each one of those stations, shouldn't I? I do want to hear the horn. The horn. The M3A is the quieter of the two trains. The M3A and the M7A will be in the M7A pretty soon. .75 mile an hour. Can the M3A even do 75 mile an hour? We're about to find out. So we're inside one of the lowered areas now. We can look back towards the city if we want to. Just see it in the distance. Probably should have done that at Harlem, we would have got a better view. Now I haven't actually played either of the services I'm doing for you tonight, but I've played all of the scenarios. Now is the route completely without issues? No. It does have a few little niggly things here and there, but there's nothing that takes away the enjoyment or the immersion for me. I actually love all these little short platforms everywhere. These are cool. So if you were doing your in-train announcements, for example, to your passengers, you'd have to tell them to come up to the front 2 cars or the front 4 cars so that they can get out. Should be kind of cool. Hopefully you guys have looked at the March Madness schedule for the Ralphan TV. One of my videos is on at 7 PM British Standard Time tomorrow. Or is it Saturday? It might be the next day. Oops. Too fast, too fast. It's alright, got the BA light on in time, I think. Now you have to come down to 2 miles below the speed. And then you can speed back up again if you want to. So that's Access slowing us down for this curve and through the station. And I should do that for the station. That's a good angle. So you can see the route's pretty busy. Lots of trains. And they probably all want me to stop and pick them up. But I'm not going to. I visited New York a few times, and my grandfather used to live there. He unfortunately has passed. So the transition out into the suburbs where you suddenly start seeing trees is quite an obvious one. When we play the M7 service, it'll be a stopping service everywhere. just so you get a chance to see all the stations and see what they look like. There's lots of different styles and colours on this route, really quite good. There's one of the little things I was talking about. I just got hit in the face by a tree. So I've just come back down to the speed. One thing I would strongly recommend when you get this route and try and drive it is don't be too aggressive on the trees. Yes, rush hour passengers are implemented with all of their new costuming. There's even some... I've not had a straight answer. There's another tree to the face. I've not had a straight answer, but I actually think there's some different ones. I kind of think there's some new hairstyles and some new colours. Now don't quote me on that, but I just kind of think so. Just acknowledging the speed drop from Axis there. I was already going slow enough, but I do need to come down to 40 now. I should remember to do that for each station too. Excuse my hiccups. Thank you, rail driver. It's just moved my reverser, if you're wondering. See, there are good things and bad things about the rail driver. This is one of the bad things. Now, if I go to coast, I should be able to move that. No, go to emergency and I should be able to move that. Come on. Do it. Do it. Do it. Rail driver. Come on. There we go. It gets confused by the rail driver sometimes, and it moves things when it shouldn't. And then when the rail driver has moved something, it just gets stuck. It's one of the reasons rail driver is still a beta. It's just not finished yet. But it will come. If you do play that with a controller, you'll discover that never happens. Very happy to have track sounds as you go over points or switches, whatever you call them where you come from. Now we've got an ATC limited cab at the moment, so if you look at the ADU over here, there's, I'll just go keep an eye on my speed, but there's 3 indicators. N for normal speed, which means you just do whatever the track speed indicator says. If it says nothing, it's 10 miles an hour. 60 is not used in the game. L is limited, or 45 mile an hour. M is medium, or 30 mile an hour. And R is restricted at 30 mile an hour. Sorry, 15 mile an hour. And S just means stop. If you get an S, you've done something naughty, like approaching a red signal and you're way too close to it. And if you don't do what it says, if you've got it turned on, it enforces it by going into a service brake or an emergency brake, depending on what you've done. And you always drive at the lesser speed of what's shown. So at the moment we've got the L, which means 45, but the track speed is 60, so you drive at the lower one of the two. Love all the colours on these stations. And they really are like this too, reds and greens and yellows and purples. Acknowledging the alerter. Now I think I said it before people turned up and started to watch. I will have some keys for subscribers. which I'll be giving away. I hope to have them next week, but I haven't received word on exactly when I'm going to get them. And I've requested 2 Harlem keys and 1 Luzerne Cersei key to give away. So I'll work out exactly how I'm going to do that after I've got them. But it won't be this week because I'm going away this week, so we'll get that sorted out next week. I have to try and remember to honk the horn before coming into stations because you're supposed to. On the Metro North routes, they sound the horn on the way into the station, stopping or not, and if they have stopped, they sound it again before they move. The route's modelled reasonably faithfully. I'm just going to brake till the green light comes on, brake assurance. And then I won't get the overspeed penalty. Oh, there we go again. So we've had 2 then. We had to come down for an access limit, and then we had to come down again for an ATC limited cab. Now, if you're getting limited, medium or restricted cabs on ATC, it means that there's a train in front of you. Because out on the main line there are only 2 signal indications, go and stop. So we're probably following a stopping service at the moment. Come on, give me the green light, thank you. Is that quick enough? Nah, not quick enough. And didn't sound the horn because I'm naughty. These people will think I'm stopping for them now. Should we pick them up? Probably not. Probably break something. Alright. Should be able to just acknowledge that now, I think. And move, maybe? No, let's go back to max brake and acknowledge. You're not going to release the brakes, are you? You're going to actually make me do this. Sigh. There we go. Now I can bring it back there and charge them up. Get used to this. If you turn on the safety systems, that is. There's a man in a green stripy puffer jacket. Okay, what haven't I done? Still got an... I wonder if I have to just wait a timer. Don't think so, though. Well, this is good. I can genuinely say this has never actually happened. Let's just go into max brake. Let's just see if that makes a difference. Yeah, that is going to work. So let me just put the brakes back on again. And turn the safety systems back on. Yay! There's the other train on the route over there, the M8. Sorry, M7. What am I saying? M7. I've got M8 on the brain. I was watching some M8 videos before. It's the M7A. Also similar looking to the one on LIRR, but it's a new build. Hello, Roy. Welcome. I'll have to find out what's going on with that overspeed there. So I notice it's still on as well. warning is still there. These little wooden structures are for getting people between trains if they have a problem. Back to a limited cab. And we're not very far away from where we stopped, so I'm just going to start slowing down preemptively. Because if you've got safety systems on, one thing you'll discover is it's best to be down at the slow speeds before you actually need to be. So it doesn't bite you as often. Because bite you it does. And you have to acknowledge a lot. So you might have an access warning, you might have an ATC warning, and you might have an alerter. All happen at the same time, and you have to acknowledge them all. And if you don't, it stops you. So that's a medium cab, which was already going slow enough for, fortunately. And soon we'll have to be going down to go into Crestwood Track 4. So I'll just come down to 15 mile an hour for the entry to that. In fact, it actually wants us to stop in this station. Look at that. Oh, I misread that. Probably have to go backwards now. No, it's going to let me get away with it. That's good. And I thought this wasn't a passenger train. How are we unlocking the doors? Are they actually getting in? They are. That, I think, is the end of the run. There we go. So you've met the M3A gold medal. And I might even... Will I going to get up into level 11? Level 12? Nah, not quite. Alright, let's go look at the M7A now. And I picked a service that should be a little bit busy. Admittedly, I have not run it. So I'm going to go 314, which is the same station we're at now, back into Grand Central. Hello, Crazy Killer. I'm enjoying it lots, Crazy Killer. Alright, let's start getting things set up. Won't touch the rail driver for this one, apart from using the throttle. Let's get our brake charged. I've got the doors open. We can go for a little explorer if you want to. The game will remind you if you drop below 90 psi that you need to charge the system, so it's perhaps a little easier to use than Harlem. Alright, wait till 7:19, we've got a little while, let's have a look outside. Let me show you some of the cool things about the M7A. These lights on the side of the train, they're on both sides, oops, too far, do actually reflect what's going on. So you can see on this side I've got the brakes applied, and the train's not ready to go. A green light lights up here when the train's ready to go, and you can see up there that the doors are unlocked. On this side, got the white light because the doors are unlocked and open. So it just helps the people who are working on the train and the people working around the train see what's going on. So that's kind of a cool feature. Did I just hit myself with the door? So you asked for rush hour passengers. Here they are. There's rather a lot. And let me see if I can find one of the ones that I think might be new, because maybe you guys can tell me. I think there's some new hairstyles. I don't see one in here. We're looking for a redhead with kind of spiky hair. Oh, it's almost time to go. Better go back to the cab. Up the outside. Now in this one you can close off the entire front vestibule, so we will. Super's passengers. And lock doors. Oops, you know what I haven't done yet? LIRR, Access, ATC, and the Dead Man. The Dead Man doesn't do anything on the M3, but on the M7 it does. So once you've turned it on, if you get out of the chair, it'll stop you. Does that sound like a proper train or what? Sound is awesome. Start slowing down for Tuckahoe. It accelerates and brakes quite nicely. I'd like to find a station where I haven't done the collectibles so I can show you what they are. I love little lights and things that come on everywhere to show what's going on. It's just very cool attention to detail. Now in the M3 there's one issue I didn't show you. You can't get out of the end doors, which is problematic when you want to walk through the train. I just unlock the doors on the other side because I'm very clever. Hopefully my right doors are going to close. Looks promising. Oh yeah, they are. So what's your verdict on the horn? South Main Rail Fam, when did this go out on PlayStation? I thought at midnight, but Ethan Plays TV said it's a bit later. Now what I don't know is whether they've allowed the update that you'll need to core after the issue they had with Dovetail Live. So this route's pretty busy. For the most part the stations are pretty close together, so as soon as you speed up for one, you have to start slowing down for the next one. I've put out a tutorial which should be live by now on the safety systems and the signalling for both trains. So if you want to see how that should happen, watch that. And that tutorial was built based on information from an actual driver from the route who wishes to remain extremely anonymous. Wander through these people. Oops. I just got hit by a person. Looks like a lot of people get off here. Bronxville. Popular station. Here comes another M7. Let's get in there so you can hear the horn properly. When you're driving the M7A, let the brake pressure come down before you try and accelerate, or it'll interlock on you. There's not a lot of distant scenery, to be honest. Let me just put that in coast, and I'll head up. Can't actually get very high, and it's a very flat area, so you really don't see very far. You'll see what the city looks like when we get down to Harlem, which is why I picked this particular one. I reckon we'll probably have to slow down for this sort of points up here. I'd be surprised if we didn't get an access restriction on this track with all the sort of curves and stuff. But, so I'll slow down and preempt that just in case. I have to stop anyway. But it looks like no. It looks like I'm actually trusted to drive at full speed. Drives pretty nicely with, drives as well as anything with rail driver. It drives fine with keyboard, and it drives quite nicely with the Xbox controller, which I've tried on the PC. On the Xbox controller you will be remarkably active, especially if you're getting an overspeed. Hello Viva Viti. Morning to you as well. For me it's evening. You can potentially tell it's a little dark here. I'm only lit up by my monitors. So we're currently driving the M7A. And funnily enough, we're obeying the sign. I'm guessing by the top of the morning you might be Irish. Pretty sure someone just got out of the moving train up there. I should watch the video back later. That's kind of funny. I love the antics of the NPC characters. Quite a lot of the services put your train into this siding here. That's where I thought we were going on the last one. So who's planning on watching some of Railfan TV over the weekend? I'm going away, but I'm quite certain I will annoy my family by watching some of it. Is my alerter going off? I noticed the alerter didn't light up on the ADU then. That is a bug. It was working, and we got an update. It stopped working. I dare say that'll get addressed pretty quickly. It's the kind of thing that usually gets fixed on the first day. Whoops. People smacking into me as usual. So here you can see a bit of distant scenery. Let's see how far we can get. Oh, not very far. You can see through into the housing area there. I think this is the Harlem River. Correct me if I am incorrect, please. Yeah, we're going to run non-stop for a little while. Going to go express now. Which is probably why we've got a 45-mile-an-hour limit coming up. We've also got a limited cab, which means we're catching up with someone. So that's the L lit up here on the display. Which means I can't go over 45 mile an hour, even though I'm an express. How sad's that? Sorry people, have to get a different train. Overspeed warning and corrected. Now they drive a little bit differently. You noticed in the M3A the overspeeds, a couple of them did actually kill me. They took me down to 0 speed. In the M7A, as long as you catch it quickly enough and you get the brake assurance to light here, and acknowledge it, you'll get away with it. But it's very vigorous. Won't let you go much over it at all. It's like a German train. So you've got to be a little bit careful about your speed. Now we've got to change from axis down to 45 there, but we're already doing 45 because we've got the limited cab. So the collectibles, you can see one there. If you see lots of waste on the ground, there we go. If you see lots of waste on the ground, cardboard and stuff next to a bin, that's one of the collectibles. You pick it up and put it in the bin. There are fire extinguishers, there are newspapers, I think, and there are posters and maps. Lots of beeping going on. You don't have to acknowledge when it's telling you to speed up. That's okay. Lots of the very classic American school buses over here. It's 7:41 in the morning, 7:32 in the morning rather. Why aren't they picking up kids for school? I feel sorry for the kids that get picked up in little white ones. Mostly the scenic elements are really good. There's a few places here and there. You saw one back there where there's a tree branch growing through a wall. But for the most part, it's good. It feels really nice to drive. I have a faint suspicion we're not far from Botanic Gardens. So I had to come down in speed then. I had to brake hard enough to make the brake assurance light up, and then it was happy. So that was axis slowing me down for this curve. I'm not sure if this one's Botanic Gardens or the next one. Might be the next one. I don't think Botanic Gardens has got an overbridge. Could be this one though. No, it is this one. So even though we're not meant to stop here, we just set this thing to stop and jump out. Because how cool is a building covered in leaves? Now, when I first saw this, I just thought it was a mistake, but then I went and had a look. No, there really is a building covered in leaves here, and it's the New York Botanic Gardens, and the Bronx Zoo is nearby too. I think that's over that side. The building's not quite an exact representation, but it's cool to have it all the same. So is there anything on the route that people would like to see? Because once we get this thing into Grand Central, I'm happy to spawn on foot anywhere you want if you want to walk around and have a look at things. Be a little bit careful if you walk around down the tracks in Grand Central, because there are places where you will fall out of the world. Because I didn't really anticipate humans going in there, I dare say. Slightly more forgiving than a German train if you're going over speed. You can go over by a mile or two and you'll be okay. It's ATC telling me we can go faster again shortly. Coming into Grand Central as you come down the tunnels is a tad stressful because of all the things you have to do. Once you get into Grand Central itself, it's a little bit underwhelming, to be honest. It's quite a long way at 10 mile an hour, especially if you take one of the trains that takes you around the loop that goes all the way around Grand Central. Yep, we can do that. Have a look at the cityscape at night time. Don't expect to see the full-on... yeah, we can definitely do that. Don't expect to see a full-on, really, really crowded skyline like you'd see from the south end of the island, downtown. Because we're quite a long way uptown. Does break lovely. So that was Axis that brought my speed down that time. I love the loose cables here over the side. That is actually quite prototypical. They may be a little regular in their patterns, but it is the way they do it. Frame rate, if anybody asks, I've got it locked at 60. It's sitting just a little bit over that, but it's not struggling on my machine. Now, if you're going off to the ballpark, this is where you'd go round the Y for an absolutely excruciating 10 mile an hour around the really tight curve. Just gotta watch my speed. The baseball stadium is up here. Not the stadium, but the station for the station's up here. And this is as much of this route as is implemented. And there are services that come into this station. In fact, there's one coming in there now. Just in time. How lucky was that? Now, I've had two varying instructions of whether you should acknowledge and then achieve brake assurance, or achieve brake assurance and then acknowledge. There we go. I try and get brake assurance, then acknowledge. You've got 7 seconds to do it. There's the city. Now, some of the iconic shaped buildings are there. That big, tall, skinny one, for example, is the one that's on the boundaries of Central Park. It's a relatively new one. This is the Harlem River Bridge. It doesn't go up and down in the game, but it does in reality. Let's see how far I get. That's as far as I can get from the train. I like this bridge, it's quite cool. And there are times when you're driving along and you'll see 4 trains crossing at the same time. That's just cool. So we are coming into Harlem now. So you can see the city. So the city will look remarkably like this at night time, except the sky will be dark. I kind of think it's the London Midland sky too, because it looks nice. So for me, I'd love to see people walking on the sidewalks. I better get back in the cab because we've got a yellow signal coming. It is peak time after all. Very happy to see the water tanks. Did I forget to stop at that station? Oh, you Wally. You absolute Wally. Yep, bye-bye station, you're right. Now the question is, can I get back? Is there a signal between me and the station? No. Fantastic. Alright, let's get you into coast. Oops, if I can get the mouse onto the right thing. No, there we go. Don't tell anyone. I was so busy showing you the scenery, crazy killer. Do believe I just nebworsted it. Oh well. Don't go too fast backwards, it bites you. That's the Harlem projects on either side there. See, to me, I'd love to see the scenery a little bit grubbier. There's a couple of broken windows there, but I'd like to see just a bit more interest here and there. A bit more graffiti on the rooftops, for example. It's a fairly common thing in New York. Now what I hope is that there isn't another train coming behind me, because this line runs on what's called permissive block, which means other trains can actually come into the block right behind you. And sometimes you'll have a train literally driving 2 or 3 feet behind you. The fact that the next signal is yellow suggests to me there is actually something coming. All those people are probably going, what a great driver. I'll have him anytime. And I'm definitely going to have to pay attention now, because coming into the tunnels, if you're not paying attention and you've got safeties on, you're not going to get very far. I reckon the architecture is pretty much nailed. I'm happy with the shapes of the buildings and positioning and the sizes, the way they look. There are some classic New York skyline type buildings that are actually missing. But that, I suspect, simply came down to money and assets and time. But there's enough around that it gives you the feel of the city. I wish you could get up on street level and walk around once you're in Grand Central. That would be awesome. But I also get why they don't want to waste money on that, because it's a train simulator, not a walking in New York simulator. I wasn't sure if you'd be able to see the Empire State from here. But yeah, the MetLife building's missing. It'd be right in front of us. I should speed up a bit for the tunnel. Gonna have another limited cab coming up soon. Okay. 45 for these fairly tight corners. The central tunnels are more like a New York subway where they're standing up on pillars. And there's these ones which are a more tunnel-y type tunnel, and I really like the lighting. I think they've done that well. I'm starting to learn where I need to slow down in here. And I'm actually going to start slowing down even speed limit is 65, because because we're coming into a busy terminal and we will very soon get an ATC limited or medium cab. There's our limited. So I'm going to start slowing down more because that means we'll have a medium any second now. So you really need to make sure you're not too aggressive coming into these tunnels. If you've got the safety systems enforcement turned off, do what suits you. But if you've got them turned on, if you don't want to get stopped in your tracks, then So do you want me to run a train at night for the next one? I know Crazy Killer wants to see the sights from East Harlem, so what I might pick is a nighttime service that's coming out of here, out of Grand Central, and drive it up to East Harlem and stop there and have a look, and then we can drive on a bit further. Got a restricted cab. Great call. We need to come down to the terminal speed limit in a moment, which is 10 mile an hour. And I'll show you one of the other things you have to watch for with the safety systems too. So I'm just going to start gently coming down to the 10 now. There are multiple things you have to acknowledge when you come into here. And you'll find yourself on and off the brakes. So this is our last mainline signal. So that was the axis, coming out of the axis area. You can see the track speed's now got the dash dash. So we're no longer in an axis trackage. And we now have an ATC restricted cab, so while the speed limit's 15, we can only do 10. So ATC would let us do 15, but the station precinct is 10. Just while this is crawling along, let me drop it down to about 8. And then I can show you the map. So we're coming in right into the centre. Some of the services actually run around the outside and go around the loop and come back out the other end. They're kind of cool because you don't have to change ends in those ones. And as you can probably tell, you don't have to drive like a loony in the services to maintain the timetable, because we're due in at 7:55, so we've got a little while to get there, but we should make it. Now on the scenarios, the timetable's pretty tight, but on the services it's quite good. So used to braking when it starts beeping, even when I don't have to. So I'll do a quick run through the services and the scenarios before we pick our nighttime train, just to show you those, because I think at the start of the stream there wasn't anybody there to see that when I went through it, so we shall have a quick look at them. We'll eventually get there, I promise. See another train sitting over there on our right in the darkness. So this signal is red over dark over flashing yellow, which is, the next signal is probably at stop. edited the document I maintain with the rail driver key bindings, and I'll put that up on the forums after we finish with this. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it, Beaver Vicky. It's quite a good drive. It has become easily my favourite route in the game. And I'm allowed to tell you that I'm a beta tester, but I can't tell you what I test. But I do find myself gravitating back to this one quite a lot, instead of testing the other stuff I'm meant to be testing. So I'm naughty. Initially I thought this was a little bit unrealistic, that you're accelerating and then sometimes braking. But watched a few cab ride videos, and no, the drivers do go through this all the time. I was meant to stop back there, not go to the end of the track. That's okay, let me get away with it. And marker lights on. Will I get this finished before it actually... Oh, I didn't unlock the doors. That's why I was getting it finished. I wonder if I can get out of the train before it stops me. Hey, get out. Go on, get out. As far as it goes. Go on. You're going to be by yourself soon. Go on. Get out. Yeah, he's gone. Off you'll go. Yeah, you too. The end. What do you reckon? Gold medal? Woohoo! And level 12. I think we might just get there. Yes. You can tell I've driven it a bit, can't you? Alright, so let's first up have a look at our journeys. So they revolve around the two different trains, the M7 and the M3, and the puns are terrible, but that's okay. So there's a few M7 services, then you do a few M3 services. There's some services and there's some scenarios in here like usual. So plenty of stuff to do in there. And if we have a look in scenario wise, there's 5. So there's Train to the Game, where you're taking them out to the... Hello, Richie Peach. Where you're taking them out to East 153rd Street, which is where the ball game is. And that's where I hovered over with the Y before. Oops, didn't mean to start that. What's the interior PIS like? You know, I've never looked. Oh. But let's just pop out of here, because I didn't actually mean to go in there. It's okay. We'll have a look when we... I'm going to take another train out for a night one, because we've had that request. So there's Train to the Game. Peak Performance, which is a final peak train of the evening, or rush hour, up to North White Plains. That one's got a few reds and yellows in it. Takes a little while. Snow Globetrotters, which is a very high-speed run in the snow, which is a little bit stressful, actually. But it's fun. And then you separate 2 trains and take one into service. This is the continuation of the one we just looked at, Buds to the Big Apple. Now this one, this should have 5 boxes, not 4, because this is hard. If you've got all the safety systems turned on, you are following other trains, you're getting into traffic jams. It's a lot of fun, but it's quite stressy. Timetable-wise, the M3 has a lesser of the 2 timetables. I mean, just scrolling through it, what, 50 probably? Something like that. And the M7's got a lot more. The M7A, I should say. So there is heaps of them. Heaps and heaps and heaps of them. Now, there are some of the really little short ones, but there's also a lot of long ones. But, you know, if you're trying to get your mastery, the short ones are useful. Now, let's Let's take this one to Mount Kisco. That's actually going to the end of the line because it's going to a place that's beyond the line. And it'll certainly be dark because it's midnight. That'll do, won't it, Crazy Killer? Forward, and let's get some doors open. Looks like we're on the left. Let's get our gauge lights up a little bit. Headlights on, marker lights off. And let's get the brake back into 10 so I can charge. Do you want to have a quick look around? Actually, you can see the warning up in the top left there. You saw that brake pipe warning. You have to, every time you get below 90, that will appear. So while our people are happily getting in, our total lack of people around midnight probably. The end doors open up on the M7A. The very end one on the M3A can be opened from the outside but not the inside, but that is actually a bug. Good evening, sir. Hope you're about to enjoy your ride. Let's just go and have a quick run up here. Now there's not a lot of Grand Central Terminal, but I'll show you how much there is. Hello, Cayman A. Glad you're liking it. Ooh, never trust a man in a shiny shirt. Morning. I've got 30 seconds to come and show you what isn't here. I'd like to see more rubbish down there because I remember there being lots of rubbish. So you can go to the other levels through either end, and there is a bit of the hall around the place. This is one of the collectibles, so you'll find all of the bits of cardboard on the ground and you just put them into the bin and you get that collectible. Now, you can't really go anywhere else, so the Grand Hall, I'm sorry to say, is not in the game. It's back there. But that's okay. Lighting-wise, it looks quite nice down here. We should go and actually play this service, shouldn't we? What are we on? Left-hand side. Oops, you know what I can do? Let's turn on the safety systems. You don't have to turn them on. Quite welcome not to. Whatever floats your boat. If you do turn them on, yeah, I would have loved to have seen the Grand Hall. I really would have, but you know, it's a lot of money for something you might go and look at once, I suppose. So I do get why they haven't, but it doesn't make me like it or want it any less. And I hate to think about the people on 4th gen consoles and lower end PCs putting enough people in the Grand Hall to make it look realistic. Because it doesn't matter what time of day you go to the Grand Hall, it's always got a lot of people in it. Put my headlights on, I did, I think. It does take a little while to get out of Grand Central. Or alternately, don't run the safeties until you get outside and just drive through here like a rocket. Whatever floats your boat. But I'm trying to drive it realistically. So, if you want to move so much, by the way, I've got cab sway set to 200. So when you decelerate, it moves quite a bit. Smasher, I guess that's how you say it. What is your shortcut to get instantly back to the cab when walking around? On PC, it's Control 0. I don't know how you do it on a controller. But it's a very handy one on PC. Especially if you've gone out of your train and you've gone so far that you can't get back to it. I can't imagine we'll see too many other trains at midnight, but we'll see what happens. Sorry it's so slow through this bit. So if you've joined and you want a bit of an explainer, you can tell by the two dashes that we're not in an access area at the moment. So access is one of the safety systems. We're going to slow down or I'm going to get braked. And we're currently under a restricted cab, so ATC restricted. That speed limit's 15, which you can see on the HUD as the blue dot, but the terminal speed limit is 10. And in here we're looking at terminal signals, and there's mainline signals outside. They're a little bit different than what they display. And if you weren't here earlier, there should be a tutorial gone live on my channel by now. It was timed at the same time this kicked off. Excuse my hiccups. So I'm going to drink water. Cool, we're starting to go uphill now, so we'll be heading out of the terminal shortly. Yeah, I was kind of umming and erring, is it Smasher or Squasher? But yeah, Smasher, it's all good. So we're now in the axis area and we've got an axis 60, so we can start speeding up. And the M7A, as you can probably tell, is a bit of a rocket. And this is prototypical, they do go this fast. Tunnels have a lot more detail than the LIRR tunnels. I kind of hope that one day maybe one of the devs will take on LIRR as a passion project and bring it into line with this on their own time. I've never tried. Doesn't really echo in the tunnel, does it? It's kind of hoping. In the main tunnel you don't have to slow down, but in the side tunnels they have curves in them, so experience that on the way in. Now the buildings for the projects don't light up, which is a bit sad, but the skyline does. And a lot of the other buildings do. It'd be nice if these did. Voiceover scenario mod. You've got me interested, Mr. Crazy Killer. Send me a PM on the forums. I want to know more about this. I sometimes play the 7 line for a world of subways, and I've got set up on my stream deck the announcements for every station as you're coming into them, recorded on a real train that I rode. My last visit in 2019. So I'll stop up here in the station and we'll get up as high as we can, so you can see what the city looks like from here. Thank you, I appreciate the link. I'd tell you to drop it into the chat, but I don't think you can. I think YouTube restricts that. Thunder as well. We'll go back into the carriage smasher and have a... Was it you asked about PIS? Who was it who asked about that? Someone did. I know there's PIS on the side of the trains. I'm not actually sure about inside. There you go. So that's a yes. It shows you where you're going at least. So it doesn't show the current stop, but it shows where you're going. And on the outside of the trains, there's... So that's this one's where it's really going. Alright, let's get up in the air. Nice starry night. How does that look, Crazy Killer? Most buildings seem to light up, which is cool. I think the projects ones do stand out a little because they don't. What if there's streetlights down here? Yep, there is. And unfortunately they reused these PIS screens, which are not correct. But, yeah, I get it. I'd like to see a bit more traffic down here. And as you may notice, look at them all running through the reds. You can tell it's New York now. Straight through the red lights. But I'd like to see some cross traffic, but I don't think they've actually got a system in game to manage intersections. So, have to put that on the one-day list, I guess. Yeah, let's keep driving. Doors closed would be a good idea. Oh, it does look better than Boston, for sure. I'll stop up at the bridge and we can have a bit of a look at that too. Yeah, I think so, Cameron. I like it. I mean, you're in a big city. It's never going to get dark here. I know this is a bit of a mean thing to do on the stream, but I'll just collect that for later. Oops, too fast, too fast. Yes. That we're going to stop here anyway, because we want to have a look. So we're going to annoy the signalling distance. Hello, Mr. Quicko Streams, how are you? Just stopping here so we can have a quick look at the bridge itself. Which I think looks pretty cool. You can't get all the way up there. I think it's textured and modelled quite nicely. Like an old rusty bridge. see if I can get out. There's a collision box on the side here, so I can't get out there. There we go. I think it's pretty cool. And the city skyline looks quite nice. Can I get higher? I reckon that's pretty cool. Just because I can. Mind you, it won't work at the moment because there is no dovetail live right at the moment. Well, welcome along. We're currently driving at night time out of New York City. I'm on PC as well, but you know. I can't switch out of the game. There we go. Have to get the green light to come on. That little blue thing hovering in the bottom left-hand corner there gets me south for just a little bit earlier. I think I got an ATC M at the same time that I went over 30 mile an hour then. Get used to using that button a lot. You'll be mashing the I am an ambassador, Mr. Quicko streams. I get it just a little bit earlier access. Also a beta tester, which I'm allowed to tell you I am, but I can't tell you what. This is an express all the way out. I'm going to stop at a few stations anyway, just so we can see what they look like at night time. How do you become an ambassador? You suck up lots. Oh, you're welcome, Smasher. Sorry you have to go. So I think these are quite nicely lit at night time. Let's see how high we can get. So the suburbs are pretty good. Just go a bit slow so I don't fall apart. I don't know that it's subs that actually matters that much, to be honest with you, Mr. Quicko. I mean, I'm pretty low end when it comes to streamers. It's more about the content that you put out for. So I do a lot of tutorials and things like that. That's what got me noticed anyway. And I'm usually on the forums a bit, so just going a bit slow because I want to be able to have a look around up here, which I can't do if I'm going really quick because the safety systems will bite me sooner or later. Yeah, I think this is quite nice at night time. These ones miss it. Oh, they've got open windows, that's cool. Yeah, so the projects need lights. They really do, don't they? It stands out just a bit. Oh, the ones in the back there. I'm going to just stop. And oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Excuse me doing this right in the middle of the stream, but I just want to get a shot of this to show how much they stand out without being lit up. Is there any background lit up stuff around here? Yep, so if I take the shot that way, it'll really be obvious, won't it? Sorry about doing this midstream. It's a bit rude. There we go. But I just want to get off to the scenery people and go, this doesn't look very good. Now let's get cracking. How is it of all the services I picked an Express? Nice rusty old infrastructure bridge back there. There's a school bus at midnight. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem to be really affecting anything. I'm running in the 70s, which I thought I had locked at 60, but anyway. I normally try and lock it at a multiple of what I stream at, but perhaps I just didn't. Oops. Break. Safe. This is gentler lighting here. That was quite nice, doesn't it? Here's the Botanical Gardens building at night time. That looks nice. It's all lit up. I think there's light coming out of the carriages. The graffiti's brighter at night time than it is during the day. Glow in the dark paint. Yeah. Of course, I go, better slow down, a couple of miles over, and he goes, no, you can go quicker, it's all good. I have an i9 11750, I think, something like that, and a 3080 Ti. And I'm running at 2K at 150%. And it doesn't struggle with that at all. It can do more of it. It just gets really hot. Yeah, in winter time I might make it work harder, keep my house warm. So access bringing us down to 60 for whatever reason. It's a good spec. I used to run a 2070, but my son watched one of my streams, and I think it was Sherman Hill, and he commented after it was a slideshow, and he got me this for Christmas. Very, very nice of him. So you can certainly tell we're coming out of the city now, can't you? The most important thing with this game is RAM and an SSD. Because it needs to be able to load stuff. Glad I had the HUD on then. It's a good spec for streaming. The GPU's handling doing the stream quite well. The 2070 was fine in play, but it was struggling when I streamed. So what do you think of the sound so far? Yeah, they do seem to be starting to come down, which is a good thing. If you're wondering what the buttons you can periodically hear me mashing are, it's this thing. I have a arcade controller in it, and I've set it up so that it presses certain keys. I've got my door buttons and my alerter. PZB buttons for German trains on it. There's a nice little detail. The fans work. Never noticed that before. You're seeing both of the signal indications you can get out here. Green flashing, go. Double red, stop. It's only in Grand Central you'll see other indications. That just died. So I suggest while you're learning the new safety systems for this when you play, if you like safety systems, turn them on one at a time. Turn on the alerter and get used to it, and then turn that off and turn on ATC and get used to it, and turn that off and turn on Axis and get used to it. And then start using them in combination, because it gets a little bit crazy sometimes with all the beeping going on. When I first started driving these, I think I spent more time stopped than driving while I got used to them. Because I was silly, I tried to do all three at the same time. It would come out, I think it comes out around the world everywhere, Steam and Epic at the same time. I'm not sure about the Microsoft Game Pass when that one comes out. I don't think you can buy it from the Microsoft Store, but you can get it on Game Pass, which is weird. But it comes out at 3 AM for me on Friday morning, which is in about 5 hours. Smacked in the face with a tree. How did I get in there? Oh, right. Cool. Just knocked over a pile of stuff if you heard the crash. Now, if you're watching Railfan TV, you'll see some more of this from me. I think it's 7 PM on Friday BST. So for me, that's about 4:30 Saturday morning that I'm going to have to get up so that I can be in the chat for it. You know, it's a hard life. Someone's got to do it. Yeah, it's about right. About 6 hours, I think. Yeah, that's probably about right. About 3 AM for me, it's 5-6 hours, somewhere around there. 3:30 AM, I think, something like that. I do have to admit, in the ambassador role, I do lose track of that a little bit, about when it comes out on consoles, when it comes out on PC. So we're coming up to White Plains. Hello, Shelby. Oh, you like the Steam Rail video? Good stuff. Alright. Thanks very much for sending those through, Crazy Killer. It's good having you in the stream and with the chat. And good luck with your appointment, whatever it is. You might better start slowing down. Cool. Well, I normally stream at 8:30 Australian time on a Sunday morning. And I've been experimenting with some evening ones because this is when the embargo lifts for ambassadors, which is why I'm allowed to play it. We have a set time, so we get to see it a little bit earlier, but we can't share it earlier than a particular time. So you'll probably see people like British Ace, AJ Amiga, and Mega Sim. They're all streaming it now too. We've got an ATC Limited Cab. We've also got a 30 mile an hour, 35 mile limit coming up. The HUD is very good at telling you what's going on. But you don't. I'm getting to the point now where I reckon I could drive without it, but I'll keep it on for the streams. Looks like the people of White Plains actually sleep at night, unlike the people of New York City. Those big buildings, lights out. Oh, he might be streaming it in the British evening instead of streaming it in the morning as Typico streams. Because for me, this actually works for me from an audience perspective, but him streaming early morning on what is effectively a school/work day would be problematic for his audience, I imagine. And here we are at White Plains. I've passed the stop point, haven't I? I was looking for the coloured thing on the ground, but there isn't one here. That's okay. Let me get away with it. Ah, so which do we unlock? Oof. Must be both, surely. Yeah, I've got people coming in from both sides. Don't I go into the yard now? I go to North White Plains, okay. It's a novelty being able to open both doors. Yep. Still got lefties, there they go. Oh, I'm early. Now I gotta wait. Well, you know what we'll do? Actually, no. Let's do this. Let's go look for collectibles. Bye. You can take the train if you want. Just take it down to the next station. You'll be right. Oh, no, you've got a shiny shirt. We can't trust you. How about you? Do you want to take the train to the next station? I got a shiny shirt. God. Everybody's got a shiny shirt. Please do not hold the doors. Sure. I'm not even sure if I've been to this station before. I'm guessing not. There we go. We're looking for a pile of trash as well. And fire extinguishers and posters. There's a fire extinguisher. Can't go that way. I'd love to have a little bit more world. That's a nice night view. Looks good. Oops, no platform. Platform? No platform. I have to remember to close those doors or I won't be able to leave. Ah, here we go. That's what I want to see. So when you see piles of trash around the place, you can clean it up. No, I don't want to give it up. Surely there's a poster here somewhere we can put up. No, looks like a no. Unless there's one down the other side of this building. Let's go have a quick look. Maybe down here. Can't go down there. Doesn't look like it, does it? That's a lot of pickup trucks. Okay. Ready to go? No, we still got a door open. No, we don't now. All good. Good question, Cayman. I don't think so. They look like the normal ads. I think when Matt was talking about it the other day that it was only coming in on the core routes for now. You reckon I'm the only one? Well, I did check the embargo time. Hope I didn't get it wrong. Get in trouble. Cool. I had a faint suspicion it was only for the core routes. It'll come into others later, I imagine. Medium cab now, which is a maximum of 30. CTSL Railfan, this has been driven by real drivers and they reckon it's about right. Welcome to North White Plains Track 1. Which is where I'll probably leave it for tonight because it's 10 PM here and I've got an 8-hour drive tomorrow. So if I stop all the way up there, I can't open both sets of doors. Got to stop then. Did you notice that? You thought I was going too fast towards the red signal. You need to be less than 5 miles an hour. But just since we're here, and I don't think it wants me to park this train. No, it doesn't. This is the North White Plains Yard. We've got a few extra cars here and there. Yep, finished it. Gold medal. Cool. Oh, well, if you think it's too fast, that's fair enough. Well, I think we'll leave this here at this point because I do have a long drive tomorrow and I want to get a bit of sleep. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. I actually find it quite a good route. I really enjoy this one. And it's the one I keep coming back to over and over and over again to play. It's when you sit down and start playing it, it's just fun. And the safety systems are really hectic. So it's a good fun thing to do. Anyway, you'll see me next on the Railfan TV. I'm on at 7 PM on British Friday, which is my Saturday. It's British Standard Time, 7 PM. So enjoy yourselves, and thank you very, very much for watching. Have fun, and subscribe if you like, and see you later. Bye. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I always like to get your feedback in the form of likes and comments because they help me understand what you want. Give the channel a subscribe and click on the tinkly things so you don't miss out on any new stuff. And thanks for your ongoing support. And please, be safe out there.